Hello, 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 Facebook. Hello, hello. I know that it is about a few more seconds, and there we go. It's 4 o'clock on the dot. It's that time, and today I'm going to talk with you about 7 healing tips for your mind. Y'all know La Luz speaks, the light speaks. And so today, I'm going to just introduce something that I'm going to be talking about over the next few days. Okay, so join the conversation, and I would like to hear from you for sure. As you can see back there, for my nonprofit is Serenity, Courage, and Wisdom. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I can't change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I just love, love, love it. It was something that I did, talking about healing tips for your mind. It was something that I actually did while I was going through cancer treatment. I said that prayer over and over and over and over again. That's one of the things that I needed to do so that I could keep my sanity in and through all of my treatment. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started because I'm not going to tarry long. I'm going to introduce. Sorry about the phone call. I'm in the office. Okay. So listen. Today I'm going to talk about 7 healing tips for your mind. Now, I'm not going to go over all of them today. I will be going over them. I will be going over them gradually over the next few days. Okay, now this is not the Bible of healing tips. This is not, I'm not a mindset expert. I'm going to share with you things that have worked for me. I'm going to share with you my story. I'm going to let you know why I feel these are very crucial and important things that we must work on an everyday basis. This is not something you do one time, because I tried that. I would do it and I would stop. And every single time, every time I stop, it's like, okay, Keisha, what? You got to go back to the basics. Like in my jewelry business, we're talking about going back to the basics. You have to stay with what you know works. And for me, these are some of the healing tips. When I say healing, for my mindset, because I battle with depression, I battle with anxiety and low self-esteem, negative self-talk. I mean, all of the above. And so these are some of the things that I've done over the years as I discovered, okay, what works? What is it that I need to try to do that's going to help me overcome this? Some people choose to do medication. I choose to pray, which is one of them. I choose to center in and figure out what are the things that I know that triggers it. Okay. Now, there are several, nowadays you have everything online, you have things in books. There are a lot of tools. So there's no excuse, right, for us to continue on and in being in a situation that we feel like we can't control. Okay. So I'm just going to go over this real quick. Just wanted to check to see if there was anybody here yet. And when you come in, please do share this video with your friends and family. There might be someone that you know who is going through depression or who has dealt with anxiety, low self-esteem, negative self-talk. Always, every time you hear them speak, it's something negative, or they might be the type that's angry all the time. Okay, those are the people that you want to share this video with, because let me tell you, the things that I'm sharing are going to be beneficial. It's going to help you. Hello. Thanks for joining. Now, 7 healing tips for your mind. Now, these 7 are, the first one that I'm going to talk about is filter. The next one is pray. Of course, we want to give thanks. Another thing that that works very well, not only for me, but if you were to do any kind of research on the mind, affirmations are vital for us to use every day. Exercise, like I couple exercise and massage together because it's like the physical touch, and you physically working your body, and then sleep, and then of course finding something that you enjoy doing, like a hobby. Okay, so those are 7. Now, could there be other things that you could do to work on healing your mindset? Absolutely. I mean, I was sitting here in thinking about today's live stream, and there are several other things that come to mind. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So today I wanted to introduce it to you, and I wanted to talk about filter, and filter encompasses every one of them. When you filter, you want to think about flushing out your toxins, flushing out the toxicity in your body, in your mind, but anyway, flushing out the toxicity in your mind. So I'm going to share with you 7 ways. As you know, as you can tell, 7 is one of my favorite numbers, but these are 7 things that I've come up with that I've done that has helped me in flushing out toxicity in my mind. A mental cleansing. Okay, so this is the new year, and we're on day 8, and they have all kinds of resolutions and things that they want to do differently in the new year. You have people who are going on fast, who are cleansing their body. So my question to you is, what are you doing for your mind? What habits have you developed over the years that you may need to restructure or to rethink when it comes to your mindset? Because there is toxic buildup that comes in the form I like to call like a radio, like back in the day, the records, record. The back in the day, the records that would repeat itself over and over and over again. You know, it was something wrong with the record, right? Well, guess what? The same thing happens with our minds. Our minds are just that powerful. So that toxic buildup in your mind will cause you to have a repetition of negative thoughts that play all day long, over and over and over again. So I don't know if you know, but your mind can possibly hold and store 100 trillion thoughts. That's a lot of thoughts. 100 trillion thoughts. I mean, we have all kinds of thoughts going through our head from the moment we wake up until we go to bed. Sometimes, just like 2 days ago, I had a hard time going to sleep. Even last night, I had a hard time going to sleep. I didn't go to sleep until like 3 o'clock this morning. I think I took a nap too. But when I have all kinds of things going on in my brain and in my mind, it's hard for it to relax and slow down. And so it is important that we it's important that we take a moment, take some time to filter. So I want you to think about if you know how to cook or you've seen someone cook and they, let's say spaghetti. Okay, you take spaghetti and you drain the noodles, right? You get all of the little particles that the small parts, pieces of the noodles that you're not going to want, right? Get a drain and you put the noodles in and the water comes through. It's filtering, right? That's a form of filtering. And then I think about food. I love to eat. But when I think about a filter, um, you have filters in the air conditioned vents, right? So you have the air coming through, you have the filter to collect dust, all of the particles that's floating around in the air, right? And when you take that filter out, this is a better example. When you take that filter out and you look at it, it's nasty because it's full of dirt, it's full of lint, it's full of whatever that has been floating around, right, in the air. So, excuse me. Hold on one moment, please. I noticed something. So, when you look at the filter, it's practically black. It's just disgusting, right? When you wash clothes and you put them in the dryer, you have a filter that does the same thing. It gathers, it collects all of those all of the lint, all of those particles from your clothes and your sheets and your towels and what have you, and it's stored, right? You have to clean it out, or else what they say your dryer could catch on fire. So we don't want that. Your brain is the same way. Every single thought that comes through your mind, your brain, your ear gates, anything that you hear is going right there. Even protecting your eyes. You know, they say protect your eye gates, your ear gates, even the things that you say. Okay, so I want you to think about, what are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Right? So a lot of times we have a lot of negativity in our surroundings, but we also have negativity coming from ourselves. Okay, so we have to be careful at the things that we allow in our environment. You have to filter that stuff. So it's not something that we can protect 100%. So we have to take the necessary steps in order for us to be able to in order for us to be able to filter, to cleanse our mindset. Okay. Well, let me see here. So filtering 7 ways that I use, seven things that I do to filter and to flush out toxicity and do a mental cleansing. One of the things that I do is pray. Yep, I pray. I meditate on positive things. I think about, um, for example, um, I would know there are people like me who I'm a dreamer and I'm a visionary. So there are always thoughts coming through my mind, but then I have the opposite. I can do, and then I have those thoughts that say, well, what if this happens? Or, you know, maybe this won't work, or maybe this will work, right? So in your prayer time, you have some people who only pray just for themselves, right? Hopefully you take time to pray for others. But when you are praying for yourself, and I'll go into this a little deeper when I talk about prayer and meditation, um, there's going to be during your prayer time, I suggest and I recommend that you find scriptures that relates to whatever it is that you're struggling with, whatever it is that you are having a hard time with, right? Because when you are praying and you're talking to the Lord and you're asking Him, I'm talking about the time when you're praying for yourself, okay? Excuse me. Hopefully you are praying for other people too. But in your quiet time, in that moment when you are thinking about, okay, um, I I'm I want to see, myself in a different place. I want a different job. Okay, for example. So when you praying on increase, you could, there are scriptures on increase. There are scriptures in on so many different things, right? So you want to not only find the scriptures, but you want to take a moment and just be quiet and just listen and meditate and hear what God is saying to you. Okay, what is it that the Lord is saying to you? Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me, and please take a moment to share. Please take a moment to share, and thank you for the hearts and the likes. So, okay. So, take a moment to give yourself that space. Give yourself that peace. There are people I know. I've talked to some people who say, you know what? I don't have a quiet space in my home. I don't have a quiet time. Sometimes, you got the bathroom. You might have a little bit of quiet time in the bathroom, but you might also have to sit in the car, right? Um, there are times where um, you might go to a friend's house. You might have to do that if you have children or small children. Um, you and hopefully, you have assistance, have someone to help you. But if not, um, you might have to get up a little earlier, stay up a little later, so that you can have that quiet time. It's very important. I'm gonna go over these a little bit more detail later this week. So meditating and meditate on positive things. Okay, praying and meditate. Be specific on what you meditate on. For example, like I was saying, you might want another job. So meditate on what it is that you want to do. Where is it that you want? What is it that you want to accomplish? Okay, um, focus on those things, and then take a moment, as I'm going to talk a little bit later, and write it down. All right, so I'm gonna go into details on this later, but I want to go to the next thing. The number 2 is affirmations. How many of you actually sit down and write out affirmations, positive thoughts about yourself, about your relationships, about your home with your children, your husband or wife, or your job or your career, your goals. Affirmations, they are so critical in helping you to filter. Okay, so when we're trying to clean that stuff up out of our mindset, of course, we want to pray and get lined up with Christ and hear what He has to say to us, for us, and so that we will know what we need to do. But having affirmations written out or memorized, you can memorize them so that the areas where you need, the areas where you feel the weakest, create an affirmation. So I've seen this so many times in workshops, conferences, even in my business with Tracy and Jury. I've seen this done so many times, and I've done it with my teams, etc. You writing down the negative and then turn it into a positive, and then you speak it. You give life to it. The Lord said, "Let there be light," and there was. Everything that He spoke, it was. Not it might have been, it was. And so that's what we want to do in the filtering process when we're cleaning out our thoughts. You want to create new thoughts in your mind. And so that's why it's so important that we filter and we use affirmations in that process. Okay, one of the scriptures that I love, and I use this several times and I forget about it and I have to go back to it again. Hey, thank you for joining. 2 Corinthians 10:5. Okay, this is the King James Version. It says, "Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ." Okay, cast down every imagination, every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. Do you know who you are? Do you know what the word says about you? Do you know what God says, who God says you are? When we know those things, and then we hear something contrary, those are the things that goes against the knowledge of God. The truth, the word, anything that goes against the word and what the word says, that's going against the knowledge of God. The NIV version says, "We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ." Make it obedient. Put that thing in check, baby. Put it in check. And so sometimes I found myself actually going in front of the mirror and speaking to myself. Speaking, some people might see this differently, but I feel it's very important. Y'all drink my green drink. I feel that it's important that we act it out. Sometimes we just have to act it out, right? So you're going to have to bring that thing into captivity, speaking life into yourself. So, for example, there was a conversation I had with someone, and it was about how I looked, how I felt about myself, how did, I feel about myself when I looked in the mirror. And I didn't like it. This was a time, not shortly, actually a few years after going through cancer. And I was going through a bout of depression. And there were things that were not the way that I wanted it to be. And I was frustrated. I had low self-esteem, and I did not like what I saw when I looked in the mirror. So it took me some time, but what I did was I stood in front of the mirror and I spoke to myself over and over again for days. I can't remember how long it went for. But I spoke to myself over and over again, repeating to myself, looking myself dead in the mirror. I love you. I love my eye. I love your eyes. I love my eyes. However, that's why I love my eyes. My legs are really skinny. It's always been skinny all my life. And I was picked on when I was little and called different names. So that can um, clog up your mindset with negativity. Thinking about that filter, that air filter or whatever. Those are particles that get into your head that you have to work on filtering. And so I spoke life into myself over and over again. You are beautiful. You are gorgeous or whatever. I just wrote down several different things and I just began to read it over and over again. And I said it to myself until I believed it. Because when I started it, I didn't believe it. I surely didn't. I did not believe it. And it took me some time, but I'm glad that I did because I have a love for Keisha that nobody can take from me. And it makes you not only change the way that you feel, but it also changes the way that you look at yourself and how you carry yourself. Okay, so when you cast down those imagination, when you think about the negativity that comes up in your mind, it's just imaginary. It's imaginary. It is not real. This stuff is not real. It's not. When I think about because lately I've been pushing myself to step outside my comfort zone, and I start thinking about some negative things about my past, things that didn't work, things that didn't go as I planned. How do we know what's about to take place? When you try it again and you try it again, how do you know what's gonna happen? How do you know what's gonna take place? You don't know. You have no idea because it hasn't happened yet. Okay? It happened like that last week, yesterday, last week, last month, last year, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Who's to say that the same thing will happen again? You don't know. But a lot of times, and I can speak for myself, a lot of times we create those things and they do happen again because we're using that broken record, and it happens again because that is what we are telling our minds that we see by saying it, seeing it, thinking it over and over again. So as we filter, we want to work on those affirmations and then being grateful, having gratitude, having a gratitude journal. Those are some things that I'm going to talk about. Being grateful, being thankful. I just recently had a shift in my life just within the last few weeks because I stopped and I changed my perspective on a situation, and I began to be grateful and thankful in my situation. And I see things differently. I see people differently. And I see the situation that I've been dealing with differently because I changed my thinking. In that filtering process and cleansing my mindset, I began to be grateful in a way that some people might think I'm crazy. They say joy, unspeakable joy, that the joy that the world can't give it to you and the world can't take it away. Yeah, that kind of joy, that kind of gratitude, that kind of gratefulness and just thanksgiving that my heart, deep down inside my heart. So be grateful. Get you a gratitude journal. Write it down. Write down every single thing that you're grateful for. Take a moment, write down 1, 2, 3 different things every day that you're grateful for. Take time to work your body. and exercise. And I know that's a tough one for me. But every single time that I do it, when I work out, it frees my mind. I think better. I'm clearer when on the things that I need to do, or where I need to go next in my life. When I exercise or get a massage, it relaxes the muscles in your body, so your brain is able to flow. It is an amazing way to filter your mindset. And I'm just running through these. I spent a lot of time on those the other two, but we want to, in filtering, another thing that I find so helpful for me is when I take a moment to sit and self-assess, take an assessment of myself. I do it often. Anybody that's close to me, they know. I do it frequently. I do it every day. I think about the day before, and I think about what I did. I think about what didn't work. I think about what could I do better. I learned from Dr. LaWanda Gladney when she said, as far as one of those affirmations that I was taught to say by her, and that's every day in every way I'm getting better and better. Every day in every way I'm getting better and better. And I had to adopt that into my daily ritual of saying it over and over again, believing it within my heart. So whenever I have a rough day or a rough moment, that's what I do. I tell myself every day and every way I'm getting better and better. Today didn't go as planned, but guess what? It's going to get better because I'm getting better. I'm going to try harder tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to bring my A game. Tomorrow, I'm going to do something that I've never done before. And it's going to work. It's going to be successful because, hey, I'm trying. I'm trying something different. So that is another thing that I do when I'm filtering, right? And you have a personal journal. Okay, how many of you have a personal journal where you write down your thoughts and you reflect on your experiences? Many of you know that I write poetry sometimes, or I write about the different things that are going on in my life, the experiences that I've had, and it has been such a blessing for me. It has not only been a blessing for me, but it's been a blessing to others. I'm able to share my story. I'm able to share my experiences, share my feelings, and how I've gotten through cancer. I do write a lot of things that are encouraging. Um, and it's just a way for you to filter so that you can get your thoughts from here to paper. I find that whenever I feel flustered and I have a lot going on, when I just write down everything that's coming through my mind, I put it on paper, I find that I'm able to think. Sometimes I can't move from one thing to another thing until I have whatever's in my head down on paper. I went to a retreat and I was trying to write. I was doing a workshop with the ladies there, and I couldn't figure out what it was that I was going to write. I normally start with a topic, or think about something, one word or a phrase or a situation, and I could not think because there was something that was going over and over and over again in my head. And I sat there and I wrote pages and pages of all of these thoughts that were going through my head. And once I did that, oh my gosh, it just flowed. It was almost like the light switch went on. I loose. The light went on, and I was able to accomplish and finish my writing. I was just like, gosh, this is so amazing. I never realized this before. But reflecting and journaling and taking a moment to put your thoughts to paper is another way that you can filter. Okay. In theater, I have a degree in theater performance, and we I wanted to share something else with you. I almost forgot. But I learned about recognition reversal, the 2 R's, okay, for those of you who are in theater or in drama and the arts. Excuse me. If you are in the arts, there's in film, I've been watching, I don't watch a lot of TV, but when I'm at my mother's house, I do sometimes sit and watch TV with her, and there's Hallmark channel, the Hallmark channel. Oh my gosh, I can tell you what's gonna happen every time because they have like this the structure of every one of their shows are basically the same. And so the when a character in a play or a film, right, it a character goes through what we call recognition and reversal, where you recognize something in your life, or like you recognize the area in your life that you want to change or that you see needs changing. You recognize how mean and evil you've been. You recognize how you have been dealing with depression and low self-esteem. You recognize that you've been talking negative to yourself, and you recognize how you've dealt with anxiety and things of that nature. Then you take steps. Then you're able to take steps to make that reversal. So you recognize, and then you make that reversal. Then you make that change. You have recognition and reversal. Okay. So when you're filtering your mindset, you gotta have recognition and reversal. Everything that I just shared with you, that's number 7. Everything that I share with you helps with that process of recognition and reversal. So journaling definitely helps. Getting feedback from other people. When you hear everybody saying the same thing to you, everybody can't be wrong. Everybody saying you crazy. Hello, you crazy. You gotta recognize. You better recognize and then make a change. Maybe there's something that you don't realize that you do. It might be in your body language. It might be in your tone. It might be in the way that you speak. The words that you say. There are things that we do and we don't recognize it. We don't know it. Sometimes I say, well, why didn't you tell me this before? Someone is, brings something to my attention. Why didn't you tell me? Because a lot of times what we see, the world doesn't see it like that all the time. Okay. So it is very important that we take a moment to recognize our habits, recognize how we treat others. When you pay attention to those things, you're able to heal your mindset. Let me tell you, when you are able to recognize your flaws and own it, then the process of reversing it is a lot easier, because then you're not in denial and you're able to say, hey, I'm able to take a step, take that leap to a healthier mindset, right? So those are the things that I wanted to share with you today about filtering. These are 7 things that we can do, 7 things that you can do, 7 ways that you can flush out your mind and flush out all of that toxicity, all of the negativity, so that you can have um, um, a mental cleansing. Flush out the toxicity and have a mental cleansing. Now, I don't know if you know about Bonnie and Clyde. Now, my age group, or something, drill or something. Y'all know I'm not that old, but I'm not that young either. Um, if you heard of Bonnie and Clyde, when I think about the mindset, and I think about negativity, I think about Bonnie and Clyde, and I call this the Bonnie and Clyde mindset syndrome. Okay. Yeah, I said it, the Bonnie and Clyde mindset syndrome. So if you don't know who Bonnie and Clyde are, they were American criminals. They were vicious. They were no joke. When you saw Bonnie and Clyde, you knew something was going down. Okay, they traveled all across the central part of the United States of America with their gang, and it was during the Great Depression. And they robbed people and they killed people whenever they were confronted or put in the corner. Whenever they had no way out, they did what they had to do. And they were eventually ambushed and killed by some officers, by the police, and near in Louisiana. So let me tell you, your mindset, because we're built to protect ourselves. It's really not trying to hurt you. It's just say, hey, you know what? I don't want you to have your feelings hurt. Remember that time when you did so and so and this and that happened? I don't want that to happen to you again. So they mean well, just like, some of your family and friends, they mean well, but they don't have the right mindset to get you to that next level. And sometimes you just need um, to be aware of that so that you can take your life to the next level. And that Bonnie and Clyde mindset, where when I say Bonnie and Clyde, I'm thinking about depression and anxiety. They hang together. They buddies. When you see one, a lot of times you see the other. They're two separate things, and Bonnie and Clyde were two different people, but they hang together and they did their crime together. And depression and anxiety, guess what? They hang. Those are partners. And they will rob you from your freedom, from your health, right? Being depressed and having anxiety can kill you, let me tell you. It can make you feel like you are going to lose or that you have lost your mind. And so we have to confront it, and we have to do what we can to ambush and kill those, negative thoughts, so that we can be free from depression and free from anxiety. I'm going to go to another level with this, and I hope that you will go on this journey with me as I cover. This is Love After Cancer. Okay, this is the Love After Cancer series with Keisha LaLuz Carter, and I'm going to be talking about 7 healing tips for your mind. And today I talked about how we can use these things to filter our mindset so that we can walk in our divine destiny and live a life that's free from guilt, from shame, from depression, from oppression, from all of the things that keeps you from going forward, those roadblocks that will hinder you from you being your best and walking in the way that God has for you. He has a promise and a plan for your life. And a lot of times we don't get there, and that's because we get in our own way. And I don't want you to get in your own way. I've done it for many, many years, and I said, enough is enough. So as I work with you on healing your mindset from keeping you from your greatness, let's be in prayer. Continue to consult the ultimate doctor, the one who is the healer. He is the Alpha and the Omega, right? He's the beginning and the end, but he is the healer. He is the best doctor that I will ever meet in my lifetime. And he's healed my mind, my mindset, and I've been able to overcome every single attack that has come my way because the word is true and it's real and it will not leave you nor forsake you, right? So if you believe, come on this journey with me. If you don't believe, still come on this journey with me. I will show you how awesome and amazing God is. And I'm excited to share this with you. Please give me your feedback, leave comments, questions in the comment section. And you can also join my group, Love After Cancer. And that's where we bring the heat, baby. Yes, heat, HEAT, hope, empowerment, affirmation, and transformation. So if you want that in your life, you want more hope, if you want to be encouraged more or learn how to encourage yourself, because that's what you need to do. Okay, don't wait for somebody else to do it. But if you're not there yet, you need a little push in building your hope, building your encouragement for yourself, and being empowered. You are looking for a way to understand. If you're looking to find out how to use affirmations in your life, and you want to see a transformation that you've never seen, or you've seen some, but you want to go to another level, join me in my exclusive Facebook group. Is in the post there. So join me, and I look forward to going on this journey with you. And if you want to talk on a deeper level, please definitely send me an inbox, and I will be glad to talk with you and offer you some one-on-one time. All right. So until next time, I will be back for a Tuesday tea talk. And I hope that you will join me. All right, 4 o'clock tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. And don't forget to share. Bye-bye.